Ladies and gentlemen, the prosecution for the Durham Pro Special Counsel has essentially already secured a conviction. Now, the evidence is overwhelming. This is John Huey of the Epic Times, and he has indefinitely subscribed to his Twitter profile. I don't have Twitter. I don't have Facebook, as you know. I don't like Twitter. Hopefully, it'll be more of a equitable platform that allows for dissent and actually discussion and debate without Democrats silencing and disparaging and marginalizing any dissent, which is the only way their ideas make any sense at all, oftentimes. But if you look, ladies and gentlemen, a lot of big news and huge developments came today. Hillary for America was billed. SUSSMAN purchased a single-use flash drive. SUSSMAN purchased single-use flash drives for securing sharing of files in a DC Staples on September 13th, 2016 for $12.90. Durham Pro prosecutor Michael Keelty asks if the purchase was billed to a certain client, and the witness responded, Hillary for America. Okay, the billing records are what is going to do SUSSMAN in addition to the text message, in addition to the Bureau, the FBI witnesses and testimony. Now, what they're going to try to do, which is really hilarious and what they've already done, is the defense is going to try to actually disparage the Federal Bureau of Investigation. So they're turning on each other left and right. They are turning on each other left and right. It's really interesting to see. It is really interesting to see. But it's like, at the end of the day, they can't do that because they're relying on they're trying to say, the defense is trying to say that the Bureau had a clear understanding that SUSSMAN worked for Clinton, which would be the basis for future indictments of officials at the Bureau. The top leadership, so essentially James Comey was accused, and Andrew McCabe and Peter Strzok and others were accused by the Durham Probe Special Counsel of hiding the identity, the name of the person that brought the Alpha Bank allegations, which was SUSSMAN and the tech executive working on behalf of the Clinton campaign. Now, if you asked Comey or Strzok or Andrew McCabe, they would say, well, we didn't do that. This was protocol. You can't hide behind bureaucracy when the intent, everybody knows when Louis Gohmert was grilling Strzok, he was hiding behind his bureaucratic post. Durham had already put a Bureau official in prison for his entire life because this official was hiding behind bureaucracy and his government post. And he actually became the criminal alongside the criminal informants that he was working with. So you can't do that. You can't, like in Boston, for example, you can't work with a criminal organization and tip them off and help them get away with crimes and then state, well, you know what, I work for the Federal Bureau of Investigation, so, gosh, it's my job. What Durham found out is that individual, that agent, or that top Bureau official was actually more than just doing his job. He was engaging in crimes alongside the informants he was supposed to work with to get other organized crime individuals. And so you can't do that. You can't simply say, if you're billing the Clinton campaign and you're telling James Baker, the legal counsel, James Comey's top attorney at the Bureau, you can't simply say, well, I didn't tell him the truth in a text message and I'm billing the Clinton campaign, but oh, by the way, they knew it was an informal agreement, which interestingly enough, SUSSMAN is telling the truth about that. They were all in on it. Hit subscribe to this channel. Hit subscribe to the Stock Market Crash channel. Right after this segment, I'll have a segment on Michael Burry, the man who predicted the '08 crash. He is stating this is going to be worse. I have been telling you also, not Michael Burry, I'm not Jeremy Grantham, but what have I been telling you on this channel? hit subscribe to this channel, hit subscribe to the stock market crash channel, and the Bitcoin crash to 10,000 or lower channel. I don't want Bitcoin to crash to 10,000 or lower, but it will. Tether, Coinbase, all XRP, Shiba Inu, they won't exist in about a year to 2 years, unfortunately. Again, I don't say this gleefully. But hit subscribe, ladies and gentlemen, and become a member of this channel. To my super chat, or to my, I'll have a live stream tomorrow evening, but to my, to the members of this channel, and also to my Patreons, my new Patreons, thank you. The Patreon is below in the pinned comment. If you want to support my work, it's greatly appreciated. Ladies and gentlemen, so defense attorney begins cross-examination. So you have these technicalities that are trying to say, well, you know, some of the billing wasn't to Hillary for America. It was to Law Firm 1, but Law Firm 1, of course, was, they're trying to say two things at once. They're saying, well, some of the billing was to the law firm. Then they're saying everyone at the Bureau knew the law firm was a Democratic, a law firm that only worked with Democrats, the Democratic Party, and the Clinton campaign. So they really can't get out of the lies that they've been telling. If you go, John Howie has, okay, note in this regard, it was FBI agent Curtis Hyde who made this comment, not Novak. The perils of live reporting. Okay, so hold on one second. Let me see. Prosecutor read SUSSMAN December 2017 congressional testimony into record. Question, when you engage with the Federal Bureau of Investigation, the Central Intelligence Agency, you were doing that on your own volition. Answer, no. Question, you were directed to have those conversations. Answer, yes. Question, client was okay with you going to the Central Intelligence Agency? And then the answer from Sussman is yes. So it all comes back to Clinton. It all comes back to the Democratic Party. And it comes back to 18 U.S. Code 371. The top echelon of people withheld Sussman's identity from agents. That's a huge thing that Technofog, John Huey at the Epic Times, that they're talking about right now. They withheld, the Comey and Andrew McCabe and others withheld from the field agents the identity of Sussman because they didn't want anyone to know that this obvious Clinton operative was funneling false allegations into the Bureau, which gets back to Sussman's defense that everybody knew, which gets back to the prosecution argument of why he lied in the first place. Which gets back to what I've been saying is that if there's a mistrial, which I don't think there will be, but if there's a mistrial, which is possible, or in the unlikely event he's acquitted, it's because everyone knew that the Federal Bureau of Investigation had no problem obtaining information derogatory to Trump from his direct political rival. That would lead to further indictments. You cannot hide behind your bureaucratic post. The statute, the 18 U.S. Code 371 statute, doesn't necessarily need, which is what people like, you know, on the left or Democrats or these these attorneys on the left or liberal attorneys, they say, well, you know what? You're going to need an admission. You're going to need somebody to admit that there was this plot and people conspired with one another. And we don't have that. We don't have that. It's like, no, you don't need that. You don't need that when every coincidence happens to benefit one side and harm the other. And you have money flowing to Andrew McCabe from Democrats in Virginia. And you have Peter Strzok saying, we'll stop Trump. I mean, you know, all of these coincidences and all of this evidence shows clear bias. What the Inspector General Horowitz found is no prosecutorial testimonial bias. Well, the prosecutors, the attorneys, and no one was going to testify before the Durham probe special counsel that they acted out of malice. So, I mean, here, the prosecution Tuesday night filed 2 motions seeking to thwart the defense's anticipated request to enter all of Sussman's testimony before the House Panel Select Committee on Intelligence, December 17th. Former DNC Clinton campaign attorney Michael Sussman is on trial for allegedly lying. Okay, so hold on one second. But there are some other revelations. The FBI agent said he knew Tech Executive 1 was an FBI confidential human source. He knew that Tech Executive 1 handler was who the handler was, but never contacted him, nor did he know if Tech Executive 1 had convened the information to his handler. The FBI agent, he would come directly to him, did not use an intermediary even though he had a handler. It was always a direct contact from Tech Executive 1. Grasso could not recall if he had reached out to Tech Executive 1's handler, another agent. Okay. So, Tech Executive 1, agent did not recall if Tech Executive 1 said where he got and who developed the data. Tech Executive 1 specifically asked him not to disclose his identity. I can't say for certain why, but assumed it was because allegations involved in... so... Agent told prosecutor it was odd, it was unusual in that it concerned a matter I normally didn't work on with Tech Executive 1. This was foreign influence counterintelligence, which is why I quickly passed it off. All right, so reading this thread right here. And it just talks about proceedings have ended with all expecting a filing tonight regarding SUSSMAN's potentially testifying as soon as Thursday. Wow. Also on tap is a former New York Times reporter for continuing coverage. Check in with Zach Steiber of the Epic Times. So Sussman testifying shows that he's very likely on the ropes. He needs to testify and give his side of the story because there's just too much evidence showing he initially lied. And these agents, some of whom knew what he was doing, some of whom didn't know what he was doing. I know in the last couple minutes I was kind of reading some of the tweets out of order, but this doesn't look good for Sussman. If he's testifying, which he's expected to testify, it doesn't look good. Give me your thoughts below. Hit subscribe right now. This is huge, ladies and gentlemen. If he testifies, it'll actually be a lot easier for the Durham probe to prosecute him. But in a way, it's his last attempt. It's an attempt that could possibly work, but I think it would hurt more than help. And it's a desperate attempt because you don't want to testify. You want to at least, if you're in Sussman's position, have enough evidence to show that you didn't lie. Give me your thoughts below. Hit subscribe to this channel. Go to the Stock Market Crash channel right this second. And go to the Bitcoin Crash channel right this second. It's below in the pinned comment. Thank you.